I give hats off to Loyola. They competed. They fought to the end. It looked like we had a significant lead there, and they kept fighting. I thought our kids did a good job of showing resiliency both days. When we got behind early, I guess I need to do a better pregame speech than what I've been doing. So, but no, I think our kids showed a lot of resiliency. They fought through. It's tough to play back-to-backs, and that's one of the things that we talked about on the bus ride back. We should have been excited about winning yesterday, but your mind goes back. You go immediately to the next game, and then after this one, we go to Lafayette. So hats off to the kids. They found a way to get it done today.
Go ahead, Wags.
Hey, Coach, can you talk about the third quarter? Yesterday, you outscored Loyola by 8 in the third quarter, and that proved decisive. Today, you outscored them by 10 in the third quarter, and that was really when you were able to get the lead and hold it. Can you talk about what you're doing in the third quarter to kind of seize control?
Well, I think when you go into halftime, it's all about trying to find adjustments. When you come out against teams, they're great coaches in this league. So when they get an opportunity to scout you, they're going to do some things different. They're going to pick you apart a little bit. So I think at halftime, you just got to come in and make some adjustments. And I think that's what's happening. And the kids are doing a really good job of making adjustments themselves. And I think, we had a lot of open shots. I don't know how much we didn't make that great adjustments other than maybe a ball fake and then try to throw it back to Colby. And she hit some big shots. I mean, we talked about some areas that we thought were going to be open. And fortunately, she got three shots there and knocked them down in the third quarter. And I think that was a big difference because we fed off that. She hit back to back, and all of a sudden our energy goes up.
Speaking of the comeback in the first half, which, I think getting it back to 1 at halftime was big. Yeah. You put Jennifer at the kind of at the foul line or in the paint a little bit to kind of break that zone down. Can you talk about that decision?
Yeah, I think she sees the floor really well. I felt like Sophie, we tried to get Sophie in there to get some shots, but I think what was happening, Sophie was trying to attack a little too much, whereas Jen was able to catch and look and see. And we felt like that baseline was open, so we wanted to get a passer in there. And Morgan was able to finish some. And Morgan's really good at finishing around the basket like that. And as you could tell, she can elevate, and she was elevating over the players from Lafayette. So she really kept us in the game right there in that stretch.
Well, while we're on the topic of Morgan, can you just talk about her contributions today? 9 points, 4 rebounds. I mean, you needed her to play some more minutes, and she gave you some good minutes.
Well, she had a really good weekend. She had seven rebounds in the game yesterday. And she didn't get quite as many shots because we didn't find her. They didn't play quite as much zone. So Jen and Colby were able to get more openings. But I thought she had a really solid game yesterday. And then today, with them playing zone, she was able to find her niche. And, it's just like any freshman. She's just trying to find her way. And I think the game's starting to slow down for her. And hopefully this game gives her a little bit of confidence. And she'll play more going forward.
Why was Sydney unavailable?
Oh, good old boxing matches. She had an injury outside of practice. And so we'll see. We're hoping to get her back, but we don't know. We're not sure yet. We're waiting for some more diagnosis on it. And you know what? She's been playing really, really well in practice too.
So now on the downside, you're up by 14 points with 6 minutes remaining, and then you were outscored 14-2 until Sierra hit those free throws with 4 seconds left. Can you talk about what happened in the fourth quarter, and what did you say to your team about finishing a little bit better?
Well, we talked about it. I felt like we got tight, and I feel like one play, you make one play, and they got their energy up. They scored the layup. Then we had a quick turnover. They scored 4 points in like two minutes, and then all of a sudden we got some calls. We had a blocking call. Then we had a charge call. We had some things. We were still trying to run the clock. But I talked to our team. I feel like they get a little bit tighter. We're still learning how to win in a lot of ways, and I felt like we started to tighten up, and we were playing not to lose, rather than playing to win. And I think that's something that we've got to learn to handle a little better. And I think that's what I would attribute that to. I felt like we had good looks and we were doing what we wanted to and trying to run the clock. But then at the end, we just didn't execute well enough. And that comes back to coaching and getting us in practice.
You're muted, Wags.
Yeah, last for me before I turn it over to Phil Bergman. Jennifer Coleman, she's like a double-double machine. I think that's her 6th double-double this season. Can you just talk about Jen and what she's doing for you?
Well, she's a really, really good player. And I think what we've seen in practice over the last 2 or 3 weeks is her decision making is becoming better. You don't see since the Army game, you haven't seen a lot of the shots, the shot selection. So she's really finding her teammates. And if you played this game long enough and played it even, what I call dogs. You know what I mean by that? And I mean that in the best way. She's just a dog when it comes. She can trace the ball. She tracks the ball. It's almost like a Rodman-esque, in a lot of ways. So that was one of the things we started. Instead of normally you send your point guard back. It's like, no, we're not sending them back. We'll send somebody else back. Go get some rebounds. Because she tracks the ball. She and Sophie really track the ball really, really well.
Sponsor base.
Phil?
Hey, Coach Phil Bergman. A weekend like this, how does this help change the trajectory of this team throughout the rest of the season?
Well, I think, I don't know if it changes the trajectory, because one of the things that we talked about was trying to make every player better, and as a team continually to get better and to continue to play our best basketball. One of the things we talked about, we don't want to be playing our best basketball in, in January. We want to be playing late February, early March. So I think we're going to continue to focus on that. And really, one of the big things we've got to be able to do is try to get recovery in, because 8 games in 15 days, it's brutal. But bottom line is, I think our kids will grit it and figure it out and keep working, and we'll get them recovery, and hopefully this springboards us, because we played pretty well. I think the last 5 or 6 games, I feel like we played really well in certain stretches.
Looking ahead, it's a relatively quick turnaround. Just what are your thoughts heading for Lafayette Wednesday?
They're a really good team. Their record is not indicative of who they are. They're probably playing 2 of the better teams in our league, in Lehigh and Bucknell. So they've got a great player in Kukowski. I hope I'm saying that right. She's tremendous. So we don't have anyone like her. So we'll have to figure that matchup. That's probably be our biggest test this year of a post player. And they play a 2-3 zone. So we'll take a day off tomorrow and get back at it, and then hopefully be able to have them come in here, and then we've got Army on the weekend.
Your positioning for the Patriot League tournament suddenly looks much better. You're 4-2 overall in the league, and I think you're 3-1 within the South Division. Can you just talk about that, Coach?
Well, I think that's one of the things we talked about once they broke this out, was that our goal was to win the South Division, and then that would give you a 3 seed, and that gets you a home game. So I think that's been our goal from the beginning, and I think that's right now we put ourselves in position to be able to do that, Wags, and we're giving ourselves an opportunity to do that. So in a lot of ways, that game next Wednesday is the game that's going to decide it. Lafayette and Army definitely are important games, but in winning that, we got to go to American and probably play our best game, because that's a really good basketball team.
First of all, how good does it feel to play 2 basketball games this weekend?
It feels good. I think our bodies are acclimated to playing 2 games back to back. So we're definitely pushing through the pain.
Obviously, all of a sudden with 2 wins, you look a lot better as far as Patriot League and making the tournament. You're suddenly 4-2 in the league overall, and I think 3-1 within the South Division. Can you just talk about making a push here at the end?
Yeah, so we have Lafayette this Wednesday. We have to get past that game, and then we have the big Army game on Saturday. So we just have to push through, get through day by day, practice hard, and focus really on recovery.
You made 3 3-pointers in the third quarter, and that kind of sparked the team. You outscored Loyola by 10 in that quarter, which I thought was crucial to get in the lead. Can you just talk about, would you start feeling it?
I kind of tweaked my steps into my shot, because I was getting a lot of travel calls. So I took my time on the shot, and when it was open, I just took it.
What can you say about some players stepping up, like a Morgan Andrews, who scores 9 points, grabs 4 boards? She had to play more minutes today because I know Sydney was out. But can you talk about someone like that kind of step?
Yeah, she definitely stepped up when we needed her. She made some good shots, layups, and corner twos, and got a lot of good rebounds when we needed them. So I definitely see an improvement in her.
I'm sure Coach talked in the locker room afterwards about finishing. Obviously, you're up by 14 points with 6 minutes left and got a little too close for comfort. Can you just talk about, maybe finishing a little bit stronger?
Yes, that's something we talk about all the time after games that pretty much happens like that. We definitely have to focus on putting the team away in the third quarter and not worrying about digging ourselves out of a hole in the fourth.